last night, it did. It was not how I thought it would happen. Not at all. And not expected. I went out last night with some of my friends. A friend of ours was playing in a band up at the bar, and it asked that we come for support. We had been there half an hour. We all were relaxed and starting to enjoy ourselves. And I was telling them about something that had happened to me earlier in the day, and glanced up, and there you were, standing in there, right near the entrance. Immediately I lost my train of thought, caught my breath, and realized after a second that my friends were all staring at me expectantly, waiting for me to continue with what I was saying. I know my face must have turned red, and I mumbled to them that I had forgot what I was saying, and they all gave me odd looks, but carried on talking. I looked up, and you were still standing at the entrance, and starting to look around. And just as your eyes met mine, and a slow smile started across your face, the door opened behind you, and she walked in and took your arm. I felt my hope that had so quickly surged fall, and I looked away. But the heat of wanting still spread through me like a fire in a forest. When I risked looking up at you again, you were leading her to the bar where you stopped, but she kept walking toward the women's room. I immediately told my friends I was going to get another drink, which they must have thought was odd because the one I had was still half full. I stood next to you at the bar where you were waiting, close enough to feel your arm brush mine, and you grasped my hand. You quietly, as you could, told me you didn't know I would be there, to which I said, likewise, and then shut up while the bartender set 2 drinks in front of you, and at the same time asked me what I wanted. As he walked off, you picked up your drinks, and as you turned, looking up at the top of my head, you said, I want you. My breath caught, and I thought I would melt into a puddle right then and there. I turned to watch you walk off and saw her rejoin you as you walked to a table where another couple sat waiting for you. I won't lie, I felt so jealous of her in that moment, but only because I wished I could spend the evening with you instead of her. When I got back to my seat, I looked over at your table that was a couple away from ours and realized you chose to sit where you could see me, which made me smile and blush. The next hour I spent trying to hold a conversation with my friends while looking at you as much as I could without being too obvious about how distracted I was by your mere presence. I got you watching me just as much as I was, and I know you were having the same struggle that I was. At one point, I looked up and I saw her looking at you, realizing you were watching someone, and as she turned to see who, I quickly turned to one of my friends and started talking. A few minutes later, I looked up, and you were looking at me put your hand over your heart and put 2 fingers out and tapped, then glanced towards the back of the bar and then back at me again. I nodded. I knew what you meant. A moment later, when I looked up again, I saw that you were headed towards the bathroom, and after a few seconds that seemed like an eternity, I followed. As I approached the bathroom, I saw you waiting, and you quickly walked around the corner to the hallway that led to the bar's office. I had barely rounded the corner when you grabbed me and held my face in both hands and pushed me up against the wall and kissed me so passionately that I was breathless, panting, and aching for more almost instantly. After a minute, you pulled back and looked into my eyes as we caught our breath, and then you slowly leaned in and kissed me again, letting me know you are in control and that you want me just as much as I desire you. Your kiss made me forget my surroundings, and I reached out and started unbuttoning your shirt. But you grabbed my hands, held them, and kissed them, then looked at me and said, "Tomorrow, you are mine." And I said, "Yes, all yours." You kissed me again, a long, lingering kiss, and then backed away, looking at me, slowly smiled, and walked back around the corner. I took a couple minutes to myself to regain my composure, and when I walked back towards the bar, saw you leaving with her, but I touched my slightly swollen lips as I felt the smile come across my